You're listening to The Right Side of the Rivers, hosted by Todd McCollum and Russell Dreyer. This show tackles public issues from a Pittsburgh point of view, offering common sense conversations, right-of-center perspectives, and a focus on the people, policies, and principles shaping Pittsburgh, Allegheny County, and Pennsylvania.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Right Side of the Rivers. This is the official podcast of the City of Pittsburgh Republican Committee. I am the committee chairman. My name's Todd McCollum, and joined, as always, by the trusted vice chairman, Russell. How are you?
Hey, Todd.
Say hello to everybody
Good to see
again.
you, Todd. How are you tonight?
I am good. We are good. We appreciate, well, first of all, we have five-star producer Missy making us look and sound good, as always.
Absolutely.
We had a little logistic problem today, and Missy cleared up for us and delayed us because of we were just out on a major
event.
announcement, huh? So yeah, go ahead. You lead it.
Well, welcome back in, everybody. This is double digits for us tonight here, Todd. This is our 10th show.
It is.
We have a very, very special guest that we'll be bringing in shortly. But the show's running a little bit late this evening because Todd and I were at an amazing event. Thomas West, who's a committee person with the City of Pittsburgh Republican Committee, made his official announcement tonight. Thomas will be running for Senate, state Senate, in the 38th Senatorial District. And everybody was there tonight to support Thomas. As everybody knows, Thomas is obviously a City of Pittsburgh Republican Committee person,
Right.
Small business owner. He emphasizes the importance of supporting entrepreneurs and small businesses all over Allegheny County, and now with a laser focus on this 38th Senatorial District. And just to let our viewers know what this 38th Senatorial District looks like, it's basically wards 10, 11, and 12 in the city of Pittsburgh. It then crosses the Allegheny River to include Aspinwall, Sharpsburg, Etna, Ross Township, Shaler Township, goes all the way up to Pine Township. And that's Pine Township would be the northwestern, the furthest point in the northwestern part of that district. And then all the way back across to Harrison Township, right against the Allegheny River, and all the way back down to Springdale, Harmer, O'Hare Township, Lawnox, and Fox Chapel. So that's quite a district that he's going to be running.
Like you said, full house. A lot of special guests there. And it was a very impassioned announcement by Thomas, as always. And, of course, we do remember that Thomas was a mayoral candidate for here in Pittsburgh. And we are very happy and look forward to him.
He's getting used to this. He's doing
well,
a great job.
He is. And I am very happy that his political career didn't end with the primary of mayor.
He's got a lot more to give.
Right. And we said that at the time, that there was a lot more to go. Let's do one brief thing here, because we are in our 10th show, and Bob Howard killed it last
Absolutely,
week. He it was great, as he always is, as we expected him to. Let's do just a little refresher, because we are at a different time right now. So the City of Pittsburgh Republican Committee is, you and I are the chair and vice chair. We represent we are the liaison of the party and the people, the Republican Party, and our parent organization is the Republican Committee of Allegheny County, which we would refer to as RCAC often, and the chairman of the county committee is Jason Ritchie. I thought it would be important in our 10th show, and hopefully we have some different viewers on right now too, that we deal with the inside baseball here.
Inside baseball there.
So we're happy that everybody's here. Everybody's patient with us. With all that said, we do have a special guest with us, someone who is been a friend of ours since we
Oh, yeah.
we took over the helm here
Oh, yeah.
in the city. Very encouraging. He always he's a good member of the party. Why don't you tell everybody who we have
Sure.
today?
Thank you. So yes, we have a very special guest with us tonight, a friend of the committee, someone who has been a Allegheny County committee person since 2013. His name is Steve Schlauch. He is from the Plum Committee. Now, when Todd and I got involved in committee work, we were told you have to talk to Steve Schlauch. The Plum Committee is the gold standard for committees in Allegheny County, and we were able to reach out to Steve right away. And as a matter of fact, Steve did not hesitate. He said, why don't you come to a meeting, one of our meetings? So we went, and they had 40 or 50 people in attendance. Just a great meeting. And the Plum Committee, they know how to win. If there's one thing that they know how to do in Plum, maybe with the exception of this year, we can get into that a little bit. The folks in Plum know how to win. So without further ado,
let's bring him in. Steve, welcome to the right side of the rivers.
Yeah, thank you, Todd and Russell, and I appreciate the opportunity to sit in on here. And I guess, we do a good job in Plum, but I can say this: it takes a lot of hard work, and you can't have any off years. You can't relax too much, because if you do, you can lose majorities and you can lose everything. So I guess you can ask me. I guess how I got started is that I ran into a good friend, one of my best friends, Dave Majernik, was my predecessor as the Plum Committee chair, and he was the former vice chair of Allegheny County for like 16, 17 years. And Dave kind of got me acclimated and involved with the Plum Committee. He showed me the ropes. He showed me how to run a successful committee and what it looks like from the grassroots up, and how to win elections. And and I learned, basically, I kind of took everything I learned from Dave, which was a great deal, and I kind of ran with it. And I would say obviously there's some secrets we have and stuff of how to win, but a lot of it has to do with the grassroots up, knocking on doors and voter contact. And I think I'm probably one of the best people doing that, because when I ran for state rep, I knocked on 15,000 plus doors, and I just started in April and went every single day till election day. There's no off days, so I guess I could say that I'm very good at relating to people, recruiting and finding candidates, electable candidates to run, knocking on doors. Dave's an excellent resource and asset of ours as well, and he does a lot of work as far as the software side of things, and engineering a lot of the stuff behind the scenes. And Dave and I are a good two-team leadership for the Plum Committee, and we've done a great job. And before this election, we had Republican majorities everywhere, and I think that that a lot of it is due to pretty much a lot of the work we've done as a committee, including Dave and I, and we work hard. And I'm proud to say the Plum Committee is probably one of the strongest committees in Allegheny County, and I guess I'm probably a big reason for that, because I'm extremely hardworking, and I guess I don't like to take too many breaks, because the Democrats are always working it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So we have to kind of match their game. So.
Well, Steve, I'm sorry. You gave us a good breakdown of your committee. So tell us a little bit about yourself. I'm always interested in how someone in the Republican leadership, their Republican roots themselves. Tell us about how you became involved with the party itself and your attachment to Republican values.
Well, I guess I was kind of introduced at an early age. Like when I was a kid, going to my grandparents out east or whatever, I'm in the car with my parents, and of course my parents had talk radio and Rush Limbaugh on the radio. So I kind of was introduced at an early age, and my parents and my parents always took me to the voting polls every election, showed me the ropes, and they had a vote, and I kind of saw the way there, and I got introduced to politics early, and I was raised in a more conservative right environment, and I feel like that and I think obviously my parental upbringing made a big difference. But I was always kind of interested in world events, especially politics. And I think that obviously my education played a role as well. And I was educated and I understand the way the world works. But my Republican roots, as far as getting active in politics specifically, it started in 2012. I ran into my friend Dave Majernik at one of the polls in Monroeville, picking up signs or whatever I was doing. I ran into Dave, and then I ended up working the polls for the presidential election in 2012. And then after that, I got involved with the local committee in Plum in 2013. I think I started as vice chair, and then eventually I became chair, and then I've been chair ever since. Towards the end of 2013 or middle of 2013, and we won every election. We won in 2013, 2015, 2017. We lost 2019. We won 21 and 23, and then we lost this election. But we've won pretty much all but 2 elections since I've been chair. And it's because we work hard and we know how to get the vote out. We know how to inform our voters of who to vote for. I know I know how to raise money. I'm excellent at raising money, knocking on doors, voter contact, candidate and committee member recruitment, and we just do a very good job of, we have a good plan in place of getting Republicans elected. And Dave and I play a big role in that. And I feel like that's kind of where my roots got started with the local politics. And because I learned from the grassroots level, I went to those RCAC trainings with Dave and Jim Roddy, and I learned grassroots level up, and I learned everything about politics from the federal all the way down. And, and I kind of took my knowledge and ran with it. And I'm a hard worker too. So,
well, your reputation precedes you. On one of our previous episodes, we obviously had Mike Dell in here.
Our county council candidate.
County council candidate, county council District 8 from Plum, obviously. Yep. And he said, what motivated him to keep working hard was that Steve's everywhere. Steve's at every event. He's knocking on everybody's door. He's getting signs. He's keeping us organized. He spoke very highly of you. And I will say that one of the things that Todd and I notice about the folks that are involved in the committee in Plum is you guys turn out some fantastic candidates.
Yeah, we do.
Mike Dell, and even our great friend, Mike Doyle, the real Mike Doyle.
The real Mike Doyle, the true.
Yeah, Mike Doyle's an outstanding candidate. He was a councilman for a number of years, and then he was president for a number of years, and then he ran for district magistrate in Plum, which also includes some Oakmont, and he's now our district magistrate. And Mike's he's an outstanding judge.
Right, and don't sell him short, because he ran for Congress as well too, and made a solid run at Summer Lee at the time.
Yep.
PA 12, yeah.
Steve, you had mentioned that you had to run yourself. Why don't you tell us your experience in being a candidate as well too? So you've pretty much expanded the whole, from the bottom to the top to actually being the candidate as well too. Tell us about your experiences in running.
Okay, well, I ran for school board in 2015. I was the highest vote getter in Plum, despite never living in Plum when I grew up, because I knocked on doors. So I was able to, and I served one term for school board from 2015 to 2019. We got a lot positive accomplished in Plum with security, and we had to replace an administration following a scandal, and we got a lot of things good done for the kids. But then also I ran for state rep in 2018 and 2022 against Brandon Markosik, following the retirement of his father, Joe Markosik. And, it was a 40-year name ID of an elected official, Markosik. And then it was
we're familiar with name ID.
Extremely difficult district. But nobody could have gave a better effort than I did. I knocked on 15,000 plus doors. I raised, the one year in 2022, I raised $75,000, and I didn't have any help from, outside of myself. And I was able to run an effective campaign with mailers, television advertisements. We had billboards, and I knocked on doors. I did everything possible. It just wasn't a good climate as far as the political environment. And it was kind of a very bad district for a Republican, obviously. So it didn't work out, but I'm still energized to keep staying positive and try to keep Plum and a Republican as well as turn the county around.
I'm curious because you've mentioned now knocking on doors multiple times. Have you seen a change in receptiveness at the doors, or do you still believe that doors are the way to win?
Doors are definitely the number one way to win. The Leadership Institute had a state committee training about a month or two ago before the election, and they said, in terms of voter contact, the number one way to reach and flip a voter your way is knocking on doors. I think on average, is 1 of every 14 doors you can win a voter, and that's the best percentage compared to any other rate, compared to social media, Facebook, mailers, newspaper advertisements. The best way to reach and win a voter is door knocking. It's this, even Leadership Institute even validated that was the best way. So yes, I think door knocking is the number one way to win a voter and to inform a voter, and because face-to-face personal contact, you can't beat it. So that's mine.
Now running in Plum, that we know that I believe in Plum is not dissimilar to other places in Allegheny County where perhaps Democrats outnumber Republicans.
Yeah, well, it used to be 2-1 years ago in Plum.
Okay.
And just this past primary, the voter registration, we checked it again, and we actually flipped it. We have 200 more registered Republicans than Democrats. So we've finally got it around. The problem is the turnout.
You've kind of followed that Scott Pressler trajectory.
Yeah,
there.
Basically, and a lot of it was due to the work Dave Majornik and I have done over the years, the last 25 years or whatever, between us both. By voter contact, knocking on doors, running effective campaigns and running good candidates, raising money, which I'm also, we're good at. And I just think that everything combined, we have a good formula and a good plan in place, and it's effective, and I wouldn't trade it for anything, because this stuff works. If you if you knock on doors and you have an effective campaign and you know how to raise money and you can put candidates in place, and to fit those pieces, in the puzzle, I think you can really have an effective local committee, which can kind of, expand.
In comparison to your neighboring communities, you said that until this election, you've had the council majority and the school board majority. Compare that to your neighboring communities, your Monroeville, your going beyond that, you're into Westmoreland County. But I guess is Monroeville the best apples to apples comparison?
I think they're all Monroeville and Penn Hills and Oakmont. As far as I know, they're all Democrat. You got a couple Republicans mingled in Monroeville a little bit, and you might even have 1 or 2 or some in Oakmont. But basically, all those municipalities around Plum are all Democrat controlled.
So when you talk about that, compare how Plum is run under a Republican leadership versus a more Democratic leadership in Monroeville, or even getting it into Pittsburgh here. I know that's not a true apples to apples comparison, but compare it to Penn Hills or Monroeville, if you would.
Well, I would say Plum. It's probably similar to Monroeville in terms of kind of like demographics to some degree. The difference is I think that we've had a very good string of many years of good Republican leadership of reaching voters and being persistent and voter contact. Having effective campaigns, which includes knocking on doors, mailers, raising money, having fundraisers, getting out to vote. Turning out voters with. We do text message blasts. We do mail-in ballot letters. We do, letters for fundraising. Dave and I have done a variety of things to effectively get out the vote and inform our Republican voting electorate to, who to vote for. And I think that why Monroeville and other areas aren't as good. I've knocked on doors in Monroeville, hard in the last, 6-8 years. I think that Monroeville, there's a lot of things we need to improve there, but the voting base, there's probably a little more of a progressive base there than there is in Plum in terms of the Democrat. So what I mean by that is there's progressives in Plum too, but there's more factions in Monroeville, and that it could have been just it's a little different because you got all that with a lot of commercial businesses out there, some of the whatever. some of the people move east from the city. There's a variety of things people can move, but I think that part of the reason Plum is in a better shape than Monroeville and Penn Hills and some of those areas is because we've had good Republican leadership here for many years. We work hard.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
what I was
that's
trying
the
to
big
get at.
thing,
How do you see your government efficiency, your
It's
safety, your
Yeah.
police department? How do you your
It's
public
very
works?
good.
How do you see all that running under in your budgeting? How
I
do
think
you
it's-
see all that running under Republican leadership?
I think it's been
instead of-
outstanding. Like I think even when I was school board president in 2018, we got a school police force brought into Plum School District. We had a school vestibule, so our security was upgraded. We upgraded the administration. We just modified a police contract in the borough. We strengthened our police force. So we really have solid public safety and security in Plum all the way throughout. We have good borough management. We have good elected officials all the way through. Prior to this election, we had Republicans everywhere: constable, tax collector, mayor, school board council. Everything was Republican, and the work we do is the big reason why. So.
Now, if I could just, Steve, just have you look back a little bit. I know that we're kind of 2 weeks off the heels of a tough elections
Yeah.
for Republicans around Allegheny County and the state, for that matter. And we've talked to other people about things we could have done better, and things that folks have seen in different municipalities. What's your perspective out of Plum on especially Mike Dell's race and some of the things you saw there that pushed the election the other way?
Well, Mike Dell's race, he lost around 52-47% in Plum. So, obviously, he lost in the other municipalities too.
It's basically a horse race. Then.
Yeah,
That's a very,
yeah.
very,
Mike's an outstanding candidate. He's a CPA. He knew the budgeting and the finances of the county, and he could have done a really good job if he got elected councilman. Unfortunately, he couldn't win. But my point is, our candidates were outstanding. If you look at all our council candidates, they were incumbents. Paul Dern and Skip Taylor, who are well known, and Dave Seitz, and we had a solid candidates all the way through, including school board Angela Anderson. And she was the school board president. I think the difference and the why we lost was clearly turnout, and the number one issue was the mail-in ballots, and I think turnout. I think Republicans, the number one issue going into 26 is we got to get a better plan and strategy for voting by mail and getting our voters to vote by mail. I'm not saying that we have to like mail-in ballots or like the law as it is, but the point is it's the law, and we have to follow it until something changes otherwise. And we can't just keep, not using our resources to the fullest. And I think getting our voters to vote by mail, which I think is an easier way to, instead of expecting them to get out of their house and go in person, which some people say they're going to do, but they don't do it. So I vote by mail. I've voted for the last 4 years by mail, and it's easy. You can just apply either by mail or online. You get a ballot in the mail. You fill it out. You send it back. You get an email that confirming they received it. And so I don't see why mail-in ballots can't be effective. And I think the Republicans, we have to start winning at the Democrats' game. So the Democrats are winning with mail-in ballots and turning out the vote, and we got to beat them at their game. So it's going to require hard work and more commitment.
Do you get a lot of resistance of that at the doors, or do you?
I'll be honest with you, a lot of Republicans are not going to doors. Some vote by mail, but a lot of them will say, "Well, I vote in person." So I can't confirm whether all of them follow through with that, but I think that we got to focus on going forward for the local elections, especially even for next year. We got to start focusing on the ones and twos, and just do what the Democrats probably do: go to the doors. Make sure they're applying for a mail-in ballot just in case if they're not sure they're going to vote in person, and not only get them to apply for a mail-in ballot, follow through with them and make sure they actually get their ballot, vote, and send it back in. I don't know if the answer is paying operatives on the ground or getting our committee members to do their work, but we got to come up with a strategy, because I don't think leaving things as is going to help with the party much. So we got to make some changes.
Yeah, I was going to say that. That requires manpower to follow up on all the mail-in ballot stuff, and it requires real-time information. We usually do get a lot on the weekly basis, but to have a handful of people just dedicated to following through on who's mailing in and who hasn't, that would be a a big help. And again, that's all about building the committee, which you guys seem to be very good at.
You just got to keep it up. In other words, you're not going to do it in 1 year, and you're not going to fix it. You just got to kind of build things and keep growing and growing and building and building. Plus, I am also good at I'm very good at raising money. I'm really good at door knocking. Those are two effective things in winning elections. So that helps our committee, that we have people that are good at certain things that we can put them in with the good use. So,
and that's something that Jason talked about
Our
couple
chairman,
shows
yeah.
ago. Yeah, for sure.
Well, we certainly understand the importance of the work you do in Plum. Plum continues to be a bright light for the party in Allegheny County. They're certainly lucky to have folks like you and Dave in charge and making sure that there's a strategic plan in place to find candidates. I can speak to that. I have friends from Plum that said, "Yeah, your colleague Steve knocked on my door last election cycle. He wanted me to run for school board out there." I'm like, "Yep, Steve." I said, "Steve, Steve's everywhere." So,
one thing that we haven't mentioned about Steve, and we know that you wear multiple hats, is that he is a regional coordinator for RCAC as well.
Yeah.
And you're
8, right? You're
District 8, County Council.
And you guys share.
We share a little bit of the Woodland Hills,
Edgewood, Switchville,
same
like Woodland Hills area, and then like Churchill a little bit,
Yeah.
So we went to that meeting a month or two ago. Yeah, I guess that was a pretty energetic meeting. Hopefully, we can build off that.
Yeah, no, the folks are because of the work that you're doing, and I think along with Jason's vision to put these
regional committees,
these regional committees together. People, obviously, you've heard it yourself. People are just waiting to get involved. They've been waiting for us to show up and say, "Hey, there's going to be a meeting. We're going to have regular meetings. Please show up and give us your time for a couple hours every month." So, it's a good plan going forward, and I think that bodes well for 26 as well.
We just need to find 10 more people like Steve, and we'll all be good.
That's true.
In abundance there. How about some current events?
Yeah, what would you like to talk about? I know that yesterday was the grand opening for the new Pittsburgh International Airport. And I know that my wife and I, now it's been about a month or so, but my wife and I knew that we didn't have any other plans scheduled coming into the opening of this new terminal. So we made sure we recorded ourselves on the tram, because we knew it was going to be, for posterity's sake, it was going to be the last ride for us, at least, on that wonderful tram. And so we did record that. But yeah, the new Pittsburgh International Airport is open. It's just that is one of the very bright spots of Allegheny County. I got to say that. And the airport runs itself. Basically, I'm sure that a lot of the viewers know this, but if the grid were to go down because of the forward thinking of the people that put the airport together, the airport basically creates its own energy. So if the grid were to go down, the Pittsburgh International Airport would be open for business. Don't worry about it. And that's because of the vast wealth of natural resources that sit underneath our feet out there. So kudos to the folks that made that happen. And it's just this is a very celebratory time here in Pittsburgh.
I apologize for the continuous chuckling here, but when we had our little county council quorum of people was running, one of the topics that somebody brought up was, what do we need to know about the airport? And one of the persons that was there helping us guide the questioning there was, don't ask about the airport, because the airport's the only thing in the county that runs properly. And we got told to chill out with the airport. And
no, it's definitely
it's just kind of a running joke right now with me. Don't ask about the airport, but I'm glad it's running. It
Absolutely.
runs mostly on natural gas or it's being paid for in part by natural gas that is on the property. And I think it's extremely cool. It goes to our dominance in energy here in Pennsylvania, and I know Mike Doyle had talked about that. Others had talked about that as well.
I believe it does. There's some auxiliary power supply with, I believe, solar and some wind, but it's predominantly powered by natural gas.
Powered and paid for by natural gas, yes.
And just to kind of take it back a step, there was the company, now the name escapes me, but the company that actually did the design work, I believe it was a European company, maybe Spanish, but some of the partners from that company spent about a month in Allegheny County, in Pittsburgh. They drove around, they were able to experience our bridges, our rivers, our hilly terrain, the greenery, all the trees that we have. So when you'll see those elements, when you go to this new airport, you will see all those elements of the Pittsburgh landscape incorporated into that design out there. So I've not been there myself, but obviously seen all the pictures, and it just looks world class. So congratulations to the region. Congratulations to the city of Pittsburgh.
And we'll bring Steve back in here. What I find most interesting about some of the talk this week about the airport was the old airport and the history of the old airport,
right? And
how that after it was built and we were 10 years into it, and it was just hitting its stride. It was a hub for U.S. Air, and all these good things were happening. It was jobs, and then 9/11 hit.
Yeah.
And that subsequently led to U.S. Air going bankrupt, and what a gut punch it was to the airport that U.S. Air went bankrupt, because the airport was built primarily for U.S. Air.
Now, I'm not sure about the timeline on this, but I believe this is the fourth iteration of Pittsburgh International Airport, because I believe the first international airport we had, if you will, was at the county airport, and then I believe sometime in the 50s they built the second iteration of the airport, the older airport, and then what you're talking about in the 90s,
right?
And now we are on our fourth, reincarnation, if you will, of the Pittsburgh International Airport. So we've been busy because we have a lot of international students at our universities. We are a hub for international business, so this is a great way to showcase the region and get people around the country and get people around the world in and out of Pittsburgh International.
Steve, any nostalgia about the old airport?
I haven't
traveler or anything like
what's
that? I said, are you a world traveler or anything like that?
Not typically. I've traveled in domestically. I haven't traveled. The last time I traveled was when I was going to Houston for the Final Four 2 years ago. But I haven't gone in the new airport. But everything I've read about it, it's like a immaculate airport. So I guess it's the one positive Allegheny County right now. So I guess it's an exciting time for some anyway. That people are the world travelers now. So
and the efficiency of getting through TSA and apparently just getting to the airport now is less of a task than it was. The signage and everything I've heard about it is good. I haven't heard anything bad about it. I'm sure come next week when it's a heavy travel week, I'm sure we will.
For sure.
But no, it's a feather in the cap to Allegheny County that we have a new airport, and it's exciting. What else do you think, Russell?
Well, I tell you, I know there's a lot to talk about, but I was listening to the radio this morning, and I did hear Councilman Bobby Wilson and City Controller Rachel Heisler again sound the alarm bells on the city's finances, and perhaps kind of a bleak outlook as they see, especially as Rachel Heisler sees it with respect to potential austerity measures and interruption of services. And I think that we need to call attention to that.
Yeah, well, let's go back on this and bring Steve back into this here. Steve, is the outsider or suburban type from Plum Borough, and you're again, for those that don't know, Plum Borough borders Westmoreland County.
Yeah.
I believe there was an attempt to secede from Allegheny County at one time. There was talk about that, but which is always comical. But from your perspective, how do you see the city of Pittsburgh itself?
I would say, well, I know it's about 5-1 Democrat to Republican. I work downtown for my job at the Federated Building on Liberty Avenue. And I would say I'm 3 days a week there most times, but I would say the city, since I was a kid 20, 25 years ago, it's definitely changed drastically. I mean, I would say in terms of public safety has gone downhill. It's not as safe as it used to be, or even kid or family friendly. I would say it's not as clean. It's there's more drugs on the street, homeless and everything on the street. It's kind of Pittsburgh was always a great town for our sports teams as well as our for the people. And I think over the years, due to failed leadership, and I think the Democrats are responsible for that because they've been in charge all the time, as the city's eroded. And I think in terms, especially public safety, everything's eroded in the city. And I think that from a suburban perspective in Plum, I would say I definitely think the city is definitely not as safe as where we are in Plum, for example. So I think a lot of it has to do with the leadership. And I think Plum's got much better leadership where we are, and I think the city obviously doesn't, and the Democrats have failed the city. So,
do you see in any way your police department in Plum being restricted, kind of in the way that the city of Pittsburgh police are? Is it kind of the implication of leave the homeless alone, don't bother them? A blind eye to open marijuana smoking or open containers.
No, I don't think the police.
I don't think it would be tolerated in Plum.
No, our Plum police are well. They do their job well. We do a really good job, enabling our police force to do their job, and they do it well. And we don't enable any bad things to happen, and they take care of business and keep our community and our families safe. And and I think our borough has a big part in that, and we've had a Republican leadership for many years. So I think that's the big reason why our borough is so much safer than I would say the city is.
And your police officers are probably happy with the vehicles that they drive, the equipment that they're given. They probably don't have an over exuberant mileage on their cars. The air conditioning works, the heating works. And I think that goes to
working order.
Thank you.
That's how I'm trying to tie this together.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm following you. Yeah, absolutely.
There are different ways to keep public servants happy than just a simple pay raise. There are other amenities that can be given to them, and driving around in a car that doesn't feel like it's going to shake apart on all the traffic calming devices that we have here in the city is probably one of them. And that's what Rachel Heisler was talking about this morning.
Well, Todd, I mean, unfortunately, Rachel Heisler and this current city council has to own the fact that hundreds of millions of dollars were brought into the city of Pittsburgh. The COVID money, the American Recovery Act money, hundreds of millions of dollars were brought into this city, and the people in charge, Rachel Heisler, City of Pittsburgh Council, did not have enough foresight to put that money into the city's fleet. So, I guess the question on everybody's mind is, where is that money?
And the interesting part about it, and I was listening to the same conversation that you were, was that Councilman Wilson, who's my councilman, that we admit, kind of acts like the greatest investigative reporter in the world, brought this to his attention. that these vehicles are under-maintained and falling apart, and it costs more to keep them up than to buy a new car. It was like groundbreaking news to them. And I've said it before on this show, and I say it again for the 100th time. The legacy of this city council is embarrassing.
And by no means should the hardworking people in the city of Pittsburgh be responsible for the failures of the city controller and this city council. So by no means should there be any new taxes issued on the backs of the hardworking people in the city of Pittsburgh, because frankly, they're out of options right now. They are out of options. I mean, it's either a severe disruption of services, your garbage, the amount of hours that the police will work, if that already wasn't an issue.
We're going to have winter road maintenance here shortly.
Winter road maintenance. I mean, I guess at this point we pray that we pray that that the winter isn't as hard as it can be here in Western Pennsylvania, because things are.
And then in the bizarro world, and you and I have talked about this before the show today, in the bizarro world, they want the nonprofits to pay for capital investments that should have been made through capital budgeting, but it was squandered away. And what I'm sure what the Democrats would call free money in the COVID money could have bought us a new fleet of police cars and
paid for the service contracts for sure.
Right. And then don't forget all the infrastructure that we have that's in terrible condition. And in my neighborhood, it's the California Avenue Bridge. And there are two bridges in Oakland that are closed or severely restricted. And they can't get maintenance appropriately.
And
that money was set aside. And I'm sorry, I'll give it back to you here in a second. But that money was set for things of that nature.
And the not-for-profits are already tremendous community partners. They contribute so much to our youth, to our elderly, to different activities in the community. So basically, what you're asking them to do right now is, if you're going to approach these not-for-profits and say, hey, can you help us pay for maintain our fleet? You're actually going to say, can you take some of that money that you're already using in the community to help our youth and to help our elderly? Can you take some of that away from the future of the city and put it into to fleet service that we mismanage? So that's a non-starter.
And that's where I was going with the Bizarro World Contact, that the nonprofits should be assisting those projects like
remember the Pittsburgh Promise.
Pittsburgh Promise, right? I got locked up in my mind there, but the Pittsburgh Promise could be funded by the nonprofits' assistance instead of being put to something that our taxpayers should already be having availability to. And these pet projects should be funded by.
There's a social contract here, right? I mean, we can break out our political philosophy books here. There is a social contract here that taxpayers enter into with the government. We agree to pay a certain amount of taxes for services rendered in good faith. And I will just say right now that the hardworking people in the city of Pittsburgh have paid their fair share. And by no means should the incoming administration even think to put more taxes on the back of these people that have already upheld their end of this social agreement.
Right. Steve, services downtown, like you said, not what you were used to back
when I was a kid.
Some time ago. You see less police officers.
Yeah,
and I don't want to lead you along here, but you see less police officers,
definitely
more
less
homeless.
Security, more homeless, more drugs. It's not like when you went. Like, I remember when I was a kid walking with your family to the Pirate game or whatever you were doing downtown. You just felt it was a different atmosphere. Now I think even if you're a mother or a daughter or a child or something, it's just you can't even assume you're going to be safe going to a game or whatever because it's just a different city now.
Sure, and it doesn't just happen at night. It happens
Anytime during the day.
clearly in when school lets out
Yep.
and bus services let kids out, and it happens any time of the day or night right now. What else do you have?
You know what? I mean, that kind of, we were talking a little bit about the future of the city, and you really don't have a city if you don't have good schools.
Yeah.
And that's another big issue that, frankly, I know that city council say, well, it's really not in our purview, but no, it really addresses, the city government itself really doesn't address the fact that our schools in the city of Pittsburgh are facing real challenges. And if you want to have a city, if you want to attract families,
Good schools.
one of the first things people look at, right, when they move into a new place is what are the schools like? What are the schools like, and what are the crime stats? Those are the two first things that
Safety.
people look at. So,
Steve, why don't you tell us about Plum School District, and because you said you were on
Yeah, I was on school
there.
board. I mean, since I've been on school board in 15 and 19, and then since then to now, Plum's we're a stronger school district in terms of we have top flight administrators now because we had that teacher-student sex scandal in Plum.
I vaguely recall that.
Yeah, and then so when I got on there, we had to replace the superintendent and several administrators and kind of clean house, and then we got a school police force in there, a vestibule, a stronger security system, and obviously we already have a strong, so focusing on schools, we also, I think, our education, we've become a stronger school district as a whole with stronger leaders in place and trying to get more out of the kids. And I think overall our schools are on the uptrend, and we're definitely a stronger school district now than we were, before I even was even on school board. So I think that we're definitely on the upwards trajectory. And I think Plum is now, if you're looking around in Allegheny County where to move, a lot of people across Allegheny County now see Plum as a strong school district. We're in a strong, thriving community in a lot of different ways. And I think I'm honored to be in Plum Borough, and it's a very good community. And I think that it's a good community for anybody that wanted to start a family or even just, reside. So
Sure.
now in terms of like your ranking statewide, what are there are 500 or 501 school districts statewide. What
I would,
do you off the top of your head? Do you
I don't
remember
know
where
off
you
the
got
top of my head, but I would say Plum's on the upper third
Yeah.
for sure. But I know the test scores. I talked with the vice president of the school board today about the PSSAs and the Keystones, and he said they're like mixed, probably similar to maybe across Allegheny County, but math is a little lacking. But they're supposed to implement a new math curriculum, which is still in the works. It's not finalized yet, but it's kind of a mixed bag. But I think overall we're in the upper half or upper third of strong school districts. And I think we're getting stronger because we have good. And part of that's also like this is why school boards are important. Not just having good schools, but having good school board. Because if you have good school board members that watch the curriculum and see what's going on with the the budget and everything, and you watch a close eye, you can kind of like make sure your kids aren't getting indoctrinated and keep an eye, because that's important, because I think that's what's happening all across the country in a lot of ways, is that they're getting a lot of woke ideologies, and they're not educating as much as they are indoctrinating kids.
was that a little bit of an issue not that long ago in Plum with some books?
There was a lot of stuff going on, but I guess there was stuff about CRT and stuff, and I mean I wasn't on the school board then, but I guess there was talk that I don't think CRT was in Plum, but there was obviously in other areas there may have been, but I think that we always have to be on the watch, which is why it's important to have good school board members in place, making sure our kids are getting the best education possible.
Does the Plum School Board, do you guys reach out to other school districts to learn about best practices? Does that happen?
I think it happens because it happened under our watch. I've contacted people in like other good school districts and asked them for advice, and I'm sure the current school board members do the same thing, because I think you can always study other strong performing school districts and find out what you can do better to improve. So yeah, I know we did it when I was on school board, and I'm sure they do it the same with the current school board.
Yeah, I just wondered, obviously anytime you have a bad situation, there's always, the flip side of that is there's every opportunity here to turn things around. And that's really how I see the city of Pittsburgh public schools is really, we're at a point here right now where there's frankly nothing but upside.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering if, as far as has the Pittsburgh public schools, have they reached out to any of the surrounding districts that are doing well to find out, hey, what are some best practices?
I don't know about the Pittsburgh public schools specifically, but I know a lot of school districts do that. Yeah. So I mean, I'm sure they are at some level. I'm sure they are at some levels. Yeah.
I mean, obviously the city of Pittsburgh schools represent a different set of challenges, and but seriously, we really can't have a vibrant city if we don't have a healthy public schools, right?
It's like the inside out almost.
And I know so many people, neighbors of mine. I'm obviously a city resident. So many of my neighbors, they send their kids to either parochial schools or private schools.
Yeah.
And some of these private schools in the city of Pittsburgh are,
like the private Catholic schools.
They're $10,000 easily a month for one child, easy, and that's probably on the low side. So, yeah, I think we really do need city officials to step up and maybe address that.
As a committee, we need to be better and reach out to people and find some people to be involved in run for school board for sure.
Yeah.
And we need to have conversations about that very much. I will say this about Plum, the school district. It's great to see that the school district in Plum is not solely based on how fabulous the football stadium is or the baseball field is. And believe me, they have great both. I know the baseball field was just redone, and I do. I umpire plenty of baseball, and Plum was always one of my favorite places to go for sure. They're serious about their program, and their football stadium is fabulous as well. But it's good to see that athletics isn't the only standard involved in Plum Borough, that academics is involved in well, and it's a nice balance in Plum. The baseball team is always strong, football team is always competitive. I don't know about all the other sports, but
well, and let's not forget we just had one of Plum's most famous alum was in town this week for college game day.
Pat
McAfee. Do we know what year he graduated? He's got to be probably your age.
Yeah, he's probably in his, I guess, mid-40s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't we wrap up with a political topic? Just for a few seconds.
Sure.
Steve, Russell, and I are very much in admiration of the relationship that Senator Fetterman and Senator McCormick have with one another. And it appears that cooperation with one another gets things done. We've talked a lot today about Republicans being in charge, how they are in Plum Borough, and how things seem to work out rather smoothly. But a balanced government is also good as well. Give us your thoughts on the relationship that you see between Senator McCormick and Senator Fetterman.
Well, I can honestly say Senator Fetterman has surprised me a little bit. I mean, probably a lot of other people. He's kind of towed the line, as in some regards in politics. He's kind of like this most recently, he voted with Senator McCormick to keep the government open, and he kept doing it in defiance of some of the Democrat leadership that was keeping it closed because of politics. And I think that it's good to kind of see two senators like that in Pennsylvania work together for the common good for the people, as opposed to just playing politics or playing party lines. Because I think as Fetterman and McCormick, both stressed, it's all about the people. And I think Fetterman and McCormick, by voting to keep the government open, they kept that in mind. It's about the people. It isn't about party or politics. And I think that, I think it's been in that first, McCormick's first year as senator, I think it's been a good relationship so far. And I think McCormick and Fetterman have really worked well together and showed that you can work across party lines to get things done, and still be amicable.
All right, sounds good.
We concur.
That's a good comment to wrap it up on. Steve, we thank you for coming in. We're going to have you back in again because we're going to have to talk about removing Summer Lee from her congressional spot, and that's coming up this year, and we will have a candidate for sure.
Yep.
And we'll come in and talk about that again.
That sounds good.
Steve, why don't you tell everybody out there about Plum Committee social media?
Yeah. So our social media page is Plum Borough Republican Party on Facebook. That's our main social media page that we send, daily information out to voters. And obviously I have a personal Facebook page, but Steve Schlauch, but our Republican Party Facebook page is Plum Borough Republican Party. So that's our Republican Facebook page for social media, and you can like our page and follow. And
well, have no fear. 5-star producer Missy will have that linked in the comments down below. And again, Steve, we thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much, Steve.
Thank you. Thanks, Todd. Thanks.
Great show.
Russell.
As always, it's been fun. Why don't you tell everybody about our social medias, if you don't mind, please?
Okay, folks. Thank you again for being with us tonight here on the right side of the rivers. And if you want to find us on the socials, please follow us at PGH GOP Committee. That's PGH GOP Committee on X, Facebook, and Instagram. And this is officially the close to show number 10 here, Todd. And like I said, it's been a fun journey. I'm so glad that we've been able to continue to do this and bring a little inside baseball to everybody out there in Pittsburgh and Allegheny County. And what a thrill it's been to have our good friend Steve Schlauch in from Plum, the gold star of Republican committees in the county.
So we will have to finish up by saying that we wish everyone a
happy Thanksgiving,
happy and safe Thanksgiving on behalf of the City of Pittsburgh Republican Committee and Plum Committee as well, and RCAC. To all our outdoors friends out there, good luck to you in the wilderness for its respective seasons coming up. And hey, buddy, it's always great. It's been a great show, as always, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. So everybody, once again, this is the official podcast of the City of Pittsburgh Republican Committee. Todd McCollum and Russell Dreyer here with you. And we thank you. The show, we call it The Right Side of the Rivers, and we will see you again in 2 weeks. Thanks, everybody. Be well. Happy Thanksgiving.
Be good.
Thanks for tuning in to The Right Side of the Rivers. We appreciate you spending your time with us as we talk about the issues that matter to Pittsburgh, Allegheny County, and beyond. Be sure to visit us online at pittsburghrepublicans.com for more updates, events, and ways to get involved. And don't forget to follow us on social media. We're on X, Facebook, and Instagram at PGHGOP Committee. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and stay on the right side of the rivers.